everyone, and welcome to episode 160 of the MTG Goldfish podcast. It's Seth, probably better known as Saffron Olive, and today I'm joined again by Richard. How's it going today, Richard?
Hey, Seth, what's going on?
Oh, not much. Ready to keep working through this crazy list of Great Designer Search 3 questions. So if you listened to the cast last week, you know that we got about halfway through the 75 multiple choice questions put forth to people trying to do the Great Designer Search 3. So this week, like last week, Richard is actually away, so we're pre-recording this cast, which means one more week without fish mail. Don't worry, we'll be back to fish mail and all the normal stuff next week. In the meantime, we're going to jump back into this big list of questions and get through some more of our Great Designer Search answers. So you ready for it, Richard?
Yep, let's do it. So this is part 3. So 3 weeks ago, we did the essay questions. Last week, we did the first part of the multiple choice questions. And today, we're doing the second part of the multiple choice questions. So let's get into it. The card Felidar Guardian was banned last year in Standard because of an unintended interaction with the Planeswalker Saheeli Rai. If this interaction was realized late in design, what would have been the best solution? Add 1 colorless mana to the cost of Felidar Guardian. Add Felidar Guardian, enters the battlefield tapped. Change Saheeli Rai's mana to blue-blue-red so that she's harder to cast. Keep both cards, but add a flexible instant that can destroy either one of Felidar Guardian and Saheeli Rai. Change Felidar Guardian's ability to return the permanent to the battlefield at the beginning of the next end step.
I think that entering tapped would fizzle the combo, right? But it's pretty clunky.
Yeah.
Probably the Flicker Wisp templating.
I mean, it's the Flicker. I mean, when we first all read the card, we're like, how come it doesn't have the Flicker Wisp templating? Because you could, if it enters tapped, you could have some enter the battlefield pinging effect.
That's true. So yeah, I think Flicker Wisp is the way to go.
Yeah, Flicker Wisp is correct. Assuming all of the following designs are costed at an appropriate power level and win rate in Standard, which would be the least fun to show up in competitive play? A sorcery that destroys all non-land permanents. An enchantment that stops all creatures from attacking.
A poor lantern.
Hey, that's an artifact, Seth.
Oh, that's my bad.
An enchantment that lets you name a card, then stops the named card from being cast. An artifact that taps to add 3 mana to your mana pool. An artifact that causes each player to lose 2 life during your upkeep.
Gotta be the Ensnaring Bridge enchantment. I learned that from the last Pro Tour. People do not like Bridge.
Yeah. What would be a fair cost for Bridge?
Oh, man. Jeez. 5? 6?
Yeah, maybe 5. 5 is probably too low. Probably 6. But that is the correct answer. Alright, which of the following cards would be most likely to reprint in a standard legal set? Lawn of War Elves, Sword to Plowshares, Counterspell, Dark Ritual, Lightning Bolt. Ooh. Here we go, Seth. This is an actual pretty hard question.
This is ridiculous.
Not Dark Ritual. That's gone. Right?
Yeah, that's off the list. I guess Swords to Plowshares is probably next, along with Counterspell, as far as being unlikely.
Wait, is it though? Isn't Fatal Push Swords to Plowshares like you said? Like, it's pretty close. I think Lawn of War Elf is gone, no?
I would lean... My initial thinking when I read this was Lightning Bolt is the one that's most likely to reprint. But
I think Counterspell.
Counterspell? Maybe
so all of them are equally powerful, but one of them people hate. And that's Counter. No one's like, oh my god, you bolted my bird. Right? Or no one's like, oh, bird's paradise. Oh, boo-hoo. But everyone's like, Counterspell, get out of here.
But no, this is most likely to reprint.
Oh, most likely to reprint. Oh, yeah, okay. My bad. So I think Counterspell is out.
Yeah, I think Counterspell and Dark Ritual are near the bottom.
So Bolt, Swords, or Elf? I think it's between Elf and Bolt.
That's what I came down to, too. I'm going to go with Bolt out of the two, but I have no idea how to choose between the two. they're both, I mean, if you look at current cards we get in Standard, the default version is one more mana than Llanowar Elves or Lightning Bolt. So how do you decide?
I oh, I think elves is more likely because you can make a bolt or fatal push to balance it out.
Okay.
Whereas if you have lightning bolt, it's like, well, better put some life gain or something because suddenly all the aggro decks are like really strong.
That's a good argument, but
Bolt is not even that strong though. Whereas Llanowar Elf makes your ridiculous Baneslayers and stuff even stronger.
yeah, you start playing 3-drops on turn 2, and I don't know. That's super close.
I'm gonna say Lightning Bolt. You know why? Because they've recently banned Llanowar Elves from Standard. More recently than Lightning Bolt. But we also had 3 mana Lightning Bolts recently, so I don't know.
Yeah.
Alright, I'll say Lightning Bolt.
One of those two. I'll stick with Bolt.
People say Llanowar Elves.
Ooh.
It's close. I don't know. I can see either one. From a design perspective, what is the biggest problem with this card? Mega Bolt. 3 in a red, instant, deals 8 damage to target creature. 7 is a more aesthetic number than 8. Players might find a way to redirect the damage to their opponent. It blurs the line between black and red. It's too much damage for 4 mana. A card dealing this much damage should be a sorcery. What?
Oh my goodness. Well, the aesthetic number thing is silly, so it's not that. Redirecting doesn't seem to be a concern of Wizards because it's so fringe. Maybe it's a black and red thing?
Why would this ever be a black card?
I don't know. But it's not too much damage. I think we've had things that deal that much damage for that much mana. I think none of those answers make sense to me.
Should be sorcery? When we've had big damage numbers on a red card, they're usually sorceries, no? Like,
yeah, I guess.
It's not too much damage, right? 4 mana, 8 damage to kill something in red is not that unreasonable. I don't see how this is a black card in any way.
None of that. None of those answers seem like real answers to me. I think
it has to be sorcery.
I'm gonna go with. I have to pick something.
7 is more aesthetic than 8.
I'm gonna. Yeah, I'll go with you because I have no idea.
Oh, it blurs the line between black and red.
How
is this a black
true,
card?
Because black doesn't.
What's a black direct damage instant? What is a black direct damage spell like? Period.
I mean,
they're very rare.
There's like drain effects.
Yes,
but that's all I can really.
Usually,
think
the
of.
black kill spells are -8/-8,
and yeah. And they're not usually instants, I don't think.
Oh, okay. Maybe what they mean is 8 damage is effectively hard removal. So this is effectively 4 mana instant speed hard removal.
So it's like a murder or a Vraska's Contempt. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. All right. I can buy that.
I'll buy that. All right. Which of these text boxes would be most likely red flagged as highly complex for a common creature? 2 and a white, target creature gets +1/+1 until end of turn. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, card name gets +1/+1 until end of turn. When card name attacks, creatures you control get +1/+1 until end of turn. 1 in a red, card name gets +2/+0 and gains first strike until end of turn. When card name enters the battlefield, target creature gets +2/+2 and trample until end of turn.
Well,
which of these is too complex for a common?
I think I would cross out the ones that just trigger on enter the battlefield or attacks, which leaves us with the first one, 2 in a white, target creature gets +1/+1, or 1 in a red, card name gets +2/+0. And I think since you're targeting any creature instead of just pumping the creature itself, the 2 in a white one is the most complex.
Wait, why did you remove the triggering one?
Because that's not really that complex. Like it just happens once when it enters the battlefield, or automatically happens when you attack. So that's less complex, I think, than something you can do repeatedly at instant speed to another creature. anytime you want to. I don't know. That's my...
I would think it's the second one. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, because you need to remember the trigger for the rest of the game. For every other creature you play. Whereas like the pump, I think we've seen this already. Like shade, like on a shade or something, we've seen them at common. When they attack, your creature get +1/+1. Isn't there that Pegasus that gives your things +1/+1 and flying and stuff like that?
Yeah, I
we've
think
seen
that is a common.
battle cry effects. Pumping with first strike, I don't think is that much worse. So the other one is when it enters the battlefield, you get +2/+2 and trample. But I think whenever another creature is more complex than that.
I think the top one is still the most complex because...
What? Just pump?
Well, no, because you get to pump target creature. It's like Ronas almost, where you're choosing any creature you want to give that effect until end of turn.
What about what was like Auriok Champion or whatever? Is that a common, uncommon, rare? It's a rare, right?
What's Auriok Champion? The life gain
The
thing?
life gain one.
Yeah, that is a rare. Although that's because it has protection from black and red, I think. More so, because it's just like a Soul Warden.
All right, I'll go with I'm going to go with another creature enters the battlefield. You're going with pumping another creature.
Yes.
Oh my god, you're right. Why?
Yes,
Why?
Still winning.
I know nothing about Magic. Apparently. Why is that more complicated? Because you could target?
I think so. That was my thinking, at least, is that, yeah, because you can target other creatures instead of just triggering randomly.
But how many times do you miss that, as opposed to missed triggers from entering the battlefield?
It also makes it really hard because you can do it at instant speed. So, like, in combat, your opponent tries to block. It adds a lot more complexity to the game, I think, that you can just swing with your team, and then after you see how your opponent blocks, pump whichever gives you the most benefit.
That's a fair point. All right, I'm not even qualified to be the janitor here. they don't want me in the building whatsoever. You're playing a multiplayer game. Which pair of mechanics would cause the most confusion if they frequently appeared together in a play environment? Modular and scavenge. Oh my god. Okay, what are these abilities? So modular is when you die, you can move your +1/+1 counters.
Yes.
And scavenge is you can exile from the graveyard and put +1/+1 counters onto something.
Yep.
Myriad and Battalion.
So Myriad is the copy when it
Blade of
attacks for
Selves,
each
right?
player.
Yeah.
Yep.
Battalion is when you attack with 3 or more.
Yes.
Fabricate and Formidable. Is Fabricate the +1/+1 counters?
Or servos, you get to choose. And Formidables if you have something with 4 or total power of 8, I think. Combined power of 8 or more.
Miracle and Cycling. So Miracle is if it's the first card you've drawn this turn, you can cast it for a cheaper cost. Cycling is
draw a card.
Draw a card. Devour and Exploit.
So Devour is you get to eat creatures when your creature enters the battlefield to get counters and sometimes do something, and Exploit, you sacrifice something to do something. Most of those seem like they work really well together. Cycling, Miracles, Modular, Scavenge. I think the one that I'm most confused by is Myriad and Battalion, because you're going to wonder, like...
Do they count?
Does this count as me attacking with 3 creatures, or do they come in after and it's too late? So I'm not even sure I know. I mean, I think that you wouldn't trigger a Battalion, but it's very not intuitive.
All right, I'll agree with you. Yeah, and you're correct. I have a new strategy, just copy Seth. If we printed an enchantment with the same text as Stabilizer, this was a real card. Players can't cycle cards.
It was an artifact, yeah.
Which
Onslaught.
color would it be? Green, blue, red, white, black.
I mean, white is the most prison-y color.
Okay.
I think that's the you can't color more than, like, if you think of, like, meddling mage effects,
Yep.
You can't activate abilities on artifacts, Stony Silence. So I guess it would just be another one of those type of hate cards.
What color is cycle associated with? There is no color, right?
I think cycling, yeah, is just everything cycles.
Because I was going to say, maybe you choose one of the enemy colors. But white,
Yeah.
when I think of like prison-y things, I think white, red, and then black. Maybe those three, but white seems the most likely of these colors.
Yeah, I'm just going to go with the Stony Silence theory
All right.
that white gets those hateful enchantments.
White is correct. What is the most appropriate color for this card? Junk Pile Engineer, 3 converted mana cost, Human Artificer, 3/2, pay 2, sacrifice an artifact. Look at the top X cards for your library, where X is the converted mana cost of the sacrifice artifact. Put one of them in your hand and the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. Green, blue, blue, red, red, white, black, red, white, black.
Well, I think blue has got to be in
Isn't
there.
this a mono blue card?
Yeah. So what blue options do we have? Blue, green, or blue, red? I mean,
Blue.
artifacts
no,
are red.
Wait, there's only one blue option here, right? Green,
There's
blue,
green.
blue, red. Oh, there's 2.
Yeah. And I think that red is more of an artifact
Yeah.
color than green. So blue, red.
Yep. Yep, that's correct. What is the most appropriate rarity?
Ooh. I think this one is definitely rare and probably mythic.
It's a 3.
I mean-
it's a 3 to cast 3/2.
So the rate's already like on par. It's not like a 0/1
Yeah.
or something.
This doesn't
And
seem
then-
very mythic-y, though. Put one card in your hand. So you sacrifice an artifact and then you search that deep.
Maybe it's rare.
I think it's rare.
okay.
I don't know that it's mythic-y enough.
Okay, I'll go with rare.
All right. Answer
convinced me.
is rare.
You saved me.
One of us has to get in R&D, Seth. Which of the following changes is set design most likely to make to this card? Alright, same card. Make power and toughness the same. Change the number of cards looked at to a locked number rather than caring about converted mana cost. Add the ability to and tap, put an artifact from your hand onto the battlefield. Give the creature haste. Put the cards revealed into the graveyard. Most likely?
Most likely. Well, I don't think the ones that just make it strictly better are likely. Like, haste, put an artifact from your hand onto the battlefield. I think then it would have to be a mythic if you added something like that.
Yeah, it would be too good. So put cards revealed this way into the graveyard?
I think that's even an upside.
It is, but it's the least upside of all these upsides, right?
What about the
Oh.
locked number rather than converted mana cost? What would that do? Or power and toughness the same? It would be weird if a blue-red card was a 3/3.
You can't have a 3-mana 3/3 blue-red card.
Yeah.
So you make it like top 2 cards or top 5 cards?
That really changes it a lot, though, because it's either better or worse. Like,
Yeah.
if you could sack 0-mana artifacts to get more value out of it. Yeah, let's go graveyard. I'm gonna
Graveyard,
say
because if you want to
graveyard.
dump a lot of your graveyard, you have to use a high converted mana cost artifact. So it's not even that broken.
And you can mill yourself out, so it could be a downside. You can only activate it so many times.
Okay, you were right, Seth. Locked number.
Well, I said graveyard.
I don't know, but then you switched over because I convinced you. But it was the locked number one.
Oh. Huh. I don't know about this test, Richard.
It seems debatable. I don't think they should put these kind of questions as multiple choice.
Yeah.
All right, next question. What are the most appropriate colors for this card? Dead Man Walking, CMC 7, Shapeshifter Wizard 1/1. When card name enters the battlefield, return target creature from any graveyard to the battlefield under your control. All your creatures then become copies of that creature. Sounds like a fun card. Blue black, green blue, blue red, red green, black green.
This one seems easy because reanimation, you need black. Cloning, you need blue. So, Demir, blue black.
Demir it is. What is the most appropriate rarity?
I'm finally
This
going
is
to
it.
say mythic.
This is
and
it. This
I
is
think
the
we got
mythic.
there.
Yeah,
we got a mythic.
This is the mythic. We're right. What change would design not make? Have the returned creature be sacrificed at end of turn. Have it only get creatures out of the opponent's graveyard. Have it only get creatures out from your graveyard. Give the creature flash. Make it a 0/0 creature.
I think it's got to be 0/0 because
Why would you give it flash?
I think the problem with 0/0 is it would just die, and it would be a spell because it would go down the battlefield, die. You'd have a trigger on the stack. I think it can't be a 0/0 because it would die.
This is a creature.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought this was a spell that did the reanimation. So it itself is a creature.
Yeah, it is a 1/1 creature. So I think it would just die. So it can't be a 0/0.
Okay.
That's my thinking.
I guess
with how the triggers work.
It's blue, so it could have flash as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I'll go with that. That is correct. You're designing a set that returns to a plane we've been to before and plan to have humans, wolves, and spirits. What world would be most appropriate?
I don't even know if I need the options on this one.
Ixalan, Innistrad, Kaladesh, Amonkhet, Zendikar.
It sounds like Ixalan stuff to me.
Yeah, you got the wolf dinosaurs and
it's got to be Innistrad.
the Sun Empire spirits. Innistrad. Which of the following attributes can be a card in a standard legal set not mechanically care about?
Which of the following attributes can a card in a standard legal set not care about?
Not mechanically care about. What does that even mean? Card super types, power toughness, card subtypes, expansion symbol, mana cost. Oh, expansion symbol.
Yeah, that's the only thing that doesn't impact anything in the game. Unless you're playing Apocalypse Chime in Homeland's Block Constructed.
Which of the following abilities is R&D least likely to put on a mono red creature in an upcoming set? Tap, draw a card, then discard a card. Creatures you control have haste. Card name gets +1/+0 until end of turn. When it enters the battlefield, you may return target sorcery from your graveyard to your hand. Card name must attack if able.
I think it's a looting because it should be the opposite. Discard, then draw if it's red.
But has red been able to return a sorcery?
I think they can.
They only cast, right?
I think they have spells that return. I'm trying to think of the name of it, but I'm pretty sure there are. Charmbreaker Devils is a red card that does it.
Yeah, I remember that. Okay.
And I think there's a couple other ones.
All right, so we'll go with the looter. Correct.
All right. We got to finish strong.
According to current design, which of the following enters the battlefield effect is least likely to be an uncommon creature? Target creature can't block this turn. Destroy target enchantment and opponent controls. You may return target creature to its owner's hand. Return target creature from your graveyard to your hand. Target creature gets +2/+2 until end of turn.
Well, this makes me very sad, but I think it's Gravedigger.
What?
Gravedigger has been moved to uncommon. Yeah. I've been sorting commons all week, and I realized that Gravedigger is now an uncommon.
Huh.
Isn't that seems so strange?
So Mana War is fine. Reclamation Sage is fine. Target creature can't block this turn. What's a card that does that?
Oh, there's random red, like Innistrad Vampires, I remember. That Crossway Vampire or something. Yep. And then the pumping. Well, I think I don't know if that's a common or not. I assume it is. That would be the other one I would wonder about.
So pumping or Gravedigger?
But I'm pretty sure they moved Gravedigger to uncommon.
All right. I think you're right, because I actually remembered that when I saw that. So we'll go Gravedigger. Gravedigger is correct. Which of the following sets isn't designed around factions? Ravnica, Shards of Alara, Khans of Tarkir, Ixalan, and Amonkhet.
Amonkhet?
What about Ixalan?
Ixalan's like
tribal
the tribes.
Factions?
I think they count as factions, the tribes.
Amonkhet.
Because Amonkhet doesn't have any.
Yeah, Amonkhet doesn't have anything.
Thing like that.
All right, Amonkhet is correct. Which of the following mechanics would be the best fit for a Simic guild from Ravnica? Dash, rebound, proliferate, entwine, undying?
Huh. So, dash is red. Rebound is blue. Proliferate.
Aren't there Simic cards that proliferate?
I think maybe. I know there's blue. Are there green proliferate cards?
Not sure. What?
Oh, Atraxa is green-ish.
No, but she's also blue. What about Entwine? Entwine is green, right?
Entwine is green and blue. I think it's every color, though.
And definitely not Undying.
Not Undying.
I think
That's
Proliferate,
black.
because you have +1/+1 counters in green.
All
And
right.
you have actual proliferation.
I guess that makes sense, yeah. Even if green doesn't proliferate, it deals with counters, and Simic deals with counters. So,
Yeah.
all right, proliferate.
That is correct. What is this question? Secondary. This is the color or colors that an ability shows up on a somewhat regular basis, but not often as the primary, and not always in as low of rarity as primary.
Okay.
In which color is secondary at trample? Green, black, blue, white, red.
So, primary trample is green. Secondary trample.
So blue definitely no. White has trample. Right?
Does it?
Doesn't it? Is it?
It might.
Does it? Isn't there some like unruly mob or? I thought there were some like transform creatures.
Oh, Thraben, yeah, there is one that transforms. Black.
Does black
doesn't get trample?
Wait, does Obliterator have trample? It doesn't, right? Or does it?
No, I don't think so. It just makes you sacrifice your stuff. What about red? I can think of some. Oh, I don't know. I mean, we've thought of a white card that has trample.
I think it's. Can you think of a second white card with trample?
Not really.
I feel like there's red cards with trample. No.
There's gotta be.
Ball lightning. That's like really
Ball
old.
lightning.
That's really old. Or like how does Pile Driver get trample? Oh, the goblin, the battalion one gives trample.
Okay.
All right, I think red. I think red.
You sold me on red.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with red. It is red. Whew. We got there.
Jeez.
What was that white? It was like a 2/3 or something that flipped into a 5/4 with trample or something.
Yeah, I can't remember the name of it. Thraben something.
All right. Secondary at haste.
Second. So red is primary.
Green?
Like, yeah. Like, what's the 2-drop that was really good with Undying? Strangle Root. Okay, yeah. Let's go green.
Wait, so...
Not white.
Not white.
White's not hasty.
Does black ever
Blue's
get
not
hasty?
hasty. Black might. I'm trying to think of a hasty black creature.
Bloodghast?
Sort of.
That's not really haste. Yeah, I think green, right? What's another green hasty creature?
Mistcutter Hydra?
Sold. Good enough.
Okay, we'll go with green.
No,
also,
it's black.
Like Bloodbraid?
It's black. What's a black hasty creature? I can't even think of one.
I can't either.
We're gonna have to cheat and actually search.
Yahenni, Undying Partisan is one in standard. But
is that the only?
That's Skitherix, I guess. Can gain haste.
Oh yeah, Skitherix.
I don't know
Black
about this.
Cream Goblin. Blighted Bat. Bloodghast.
Okay, so there's some ish.
I like Mistcutter Hydra.
It does have haste.
I guess Unearth gives you haste.
That's true.
Goryo's Vengeance.
That gives haste.
That gives haste. All right. Black it is. All right. Secondary at Vigilance.
Blue?
Blue?
So white's primary, not red, not
Green. There's
black.
a bunch of random green stuff with vigilance. I'm gonna go
Okay, yeah,
green.
green.
Like Rorthar and Mantis
Okay,
Rider. Wait, what is Mantis Rider? Jeskai? Oh wait,
yeah.
okay, that doesn't help.
There was a limited card that was like a 5/5 or a 4/4 for 5
Yeah,
that had vigilance. Okay, yeah,
green. All
green.
right, green is right. What kind of creatures can green destroy? White and red creatures, blue and black creatures, attacking and blocking creatures, artifact and flying creatures, tapped creatures, or tapped and enchanted creatures.
I think it's got to be flying and artifacts like plummet and all the random artifact destruction.
What about attacking and blocking? Who does that?
I think a white
That's white. Oh yeah, that's right.
primarily.
Blue and black from the old color pie possible.
Those I didn't even really think about because they just don't do too much of that. But maybe.
But we're not bringing green elemental blast into into the picture here. Okay, so artifact creatures and flying. Wait, have we ever destroyed an artifact creature though? Only artifacts in general, right?
But I mean, technically,
Okay, still the best answer, I think, and it is correct. Which of the following mechanics is not an ability word? What? What does that even mean?
I
Awaken,
don't
landfall, delirium, morbid, hellbent.
know. I don't know.
Awaken? Because it has a mana cost?
Okay, I'll I'll agree because I have no idea.
Landward is definitely a keyword. Delirium is definitely a keyword. Morbid and hellbent are keywords.
Okay, let's go with it. Let's go with awaken then.
Which of the following? Awaken. Awaken it is. Why doesn't common often have 7 mana instants or sorceries? I didn't know this. It makes math too hard. Common creatures need to be more expensive than the instants and sorceries. It's too complex for beginners. They're too hard. They're too hard to design. It is too impactful for a common. It's gotta be the last one, right?
Yeah, I would assume they're just too swingy.
I mean, the last one was like scour from existence or whatever.
Yeah,
And,
that
and
makes
that was
sense.
that was like single target removal. Well, I guess it was colorless. Colorless is what made it really high. All right, too impactful is correct. Which world has the most expansion set on it? Dominaria, Zendikar, Innistrad, Ravnica, Mirrodin.
Well, Zendikar, Innistrad, Ravnica, Mirrodin all have 2. I actually don't know how many expansions are on Dominaria. Do you?
Like, weren't all of them before?
All the old ones?
All of them that are not the ones,
Okay, yeah, it's got to be. I mean, as long as it's more than 2 blocks,
It's got to
then
be
it's
Dominaria.
So
Yeah, it is Dominaria. A linear mechanic is one that encourages players to build around a specific aspect. Which of the following mechanics is least linear? Transform, delirium, morph, energy, rally. What does rally do again? Is that when an ally enters triggers?
Oh yeah, the forgettable BFC mechanics. Yes, it is. So that requires a specific tribe. Energy is very linear.
Delirium.
Delirium requires the graveyard to be full. What about morph?
So it's between morph and transform.
I guess transform is less linear because it's on non-creatures and morph is only creatures. Does that even make sense?
No, because we play singleton morph cards like Den Protector, and we play singleton transform cards like Delver.
Yeah, but transform is like on enchantments now and artifacts. When morph isn't it only creatures or no?
Yeah, but why do you build around anything? Do you build around Search for Escanto, or do you just slam it in your deck? Same with, I think morph is
it's
more
got to
linear
be one of those two.
because you want multiple morph creatures to confuse your opponent. Whereas if you only have one, everyone knows what it is. Even though we did that anyway, we just played Den Protector. Everyone knows it's Den Protector.
That's a good argument.
But I think morph.
Okay,
Oh wait. How about transform? Because you need to play instance or have mana sync so that your thing actually transforms. So for example, with the new lands, you have conditions which you need to build around, like attacking with creatures and stuff. The old ones, you needed to actually take a turn off. I think transform. I've changed my answer to transform.
Is the most linear or the least linear?
Oh wait, that would be the most linear. No wait. Yeah, so morph is the least linear then.
Okay, yes. Well, yeah, morph.
All right. It's transform. Oh my god.
Well, we got down to the correct two.
Oh, I don't understand why you need to build around your conditions to transform.
I don't know.
I
don't know anymore.
All right, which of the following formats can't the card Power Conduit from Mirrodin be played in? What? Commander, Legacy, Vintage, Modern, Pauper.
Oh, well, it's an uncommon, so I guess Pauper? Trick question? Do you know the rarity of Power Conduit is actually what that's asking?
Is that really? Does it have any tricky text? What does it even do?
2-mana artifact. At the beginning of your upkeep, you can put a +1/+1 counter on something or a charge counter on something.
Okay. So Pauper?
Yeah, I mean, it's legal in every other
Does
format.
this mean
so.
WotC recognizes Pauper?
Kinda.
It's here.
Apparently.
It's in our quiz.
But it's on Moto, so they recognize it on Moto.
All right, Seth. Last stretch. 3 more questions. I'm about to die here. Which of the following is the most important reason that some cards' mana costs are higher than others? To encourage players to put more lands in their deck. To make the cards different. Higher costs are a hint to new players that cards are more powerful. So that people will play them later in the game. To encourage players to splash an additional color.
Well, splashing doesn't make any sense because it has nothing to do with colors. I don't know why they care about the number of lands in decks. I mean, I guess it forces you to play them later. I guess that's literally what a higher mana cost does.
Etherworks Marvel with like a word. Emrakul and Delirium and yeah. I think
because expensive isn't necessarily more powerful, so I think it's got to be that one.
Yep, I think it's so you play them later. That is correct. Which of the following is the most important reason for the color pie to exist? It allows a wide variety of costs. It increases the number of distinct cards that can be designed. It expands the color palette usable in the art. It adds more symbols to the game. It encourages deck and gameplay diversity.
It's got to be diversity.
Yeah, diversity. Correct. I wanted to go with color palette. Color pie is like a literal thing.
Yeah.
Which of the following effects is designed allowed to use on a standard legal black bordered card? Making a choice secret from the other players, affecting a future game with the same opponent, rolling a 6-sided die, having a card coexist in more than one zone, putting a card in your hand you do not own.
Are any of these allowed in standard? So
One
I know
of them
there's no die rolling. I know that.
Affecting a future game with the same opponent?
That's definitely not allowed. Like, oh, next time you play, you start with extra life.
Wait. But what about Karn?
But that doesn't impact. That just restarts the same.
Oh, it's the same game. It's not a future game? Okay.
It's not a future game.
Having a card
Cards
coexist. What does that even mean?
I guess, like, somehow it's in your battlefield and the graveyard or exile zone. Like, you rip it in half and got part...
Do we have... we don't have cards that do that, right?
I don't think we have cards that do that, period, yeah.
Putting a card in your hand that you do not own. That's probably a no-no, right?
Yeah, I think that's, like, so you don't accidentally steal your opponent's cards. Just forget about them. Making a choice secret from other players. I'm trying to think of an example of what... I know that that's a thing in Magic, like that Commander Cat thing where you choose a player.
Oh, yeah.
But I can't think of a standard card that does that. But maybe it's, like, allowed even though they haven't done it yet? That one seems the most
It
black
seems the
border
most
legal
likely.
to me. Yeah. Because I think, like, all the other ones seem like they're exclusively silver-bordered mechanics.
I thought you could put a card in your hand you do not own.
You can with some of the unstable cards.
I thought, like, in Commander we've actually done it. No? Like, some of the old cards, you would think it's, like, you own, but it's not. It's you control, and it goes to your hand somehow. But
I don't think you can.
well, you can
maybe...
because you can't shuffle, right? Because if you do that and you wheel or something... You can't
then
shuffle.
You have your opponent's card in your deck. Yeah.
Okay. So secret choice?
I'm going to go with secret choice. Even though I can't think of a standard card that does it.
No, you can like choose. There must be a card where you choose a card from the library and exile it face down and cast it.
Oh, I guess like Ganti.
Yeah.
Like you choose
Yeah,
a card
yeah,
in
yeah.
X. Okay, all right, then secret choice. Yeah, I didn't think of
Yep.
Gonti as fitting that, but it does.
Secret choice. Last question. You're designing a card with converted mana cost of 10. Which of these cards is it least likely to be? Creature, instant, artifact, sorcery, enchantment.
I'm pretty sure I know this mathematically, and it's it's instant. There's less 10 mana instants than anything else.
Why?
I learned this when I was trying to play. Oh, what was it against the odds card? It lets you cast a. What was the? I can't think of it now. I can't even think of it. I played Searing Winds because it was the most powerful, expensive instant, and I needed an instant for some reason. But yeah, I'm pretty sure it's instant.
All right, instant is the right answer. Seth,
Wow,
we've done it.
Oh
After
my goodness.
after doing this for like 2 hours total, do you want to work for WotC and do this your entire life?
There was a reason I did not actually sign up for the Great Design Search. And I think this test was, oh man, there was so many gray area questions.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it requires very specific. I guess if we had to do this and we had to get it right, some of the questions we struggled on would be very easy. Because you can just actually just search Gatherer to see, which color has the least common or most common of some number, whatever. So those ones are pretty easy to just do. So maybe it's not as hard as it was because we're kind of doing it blind.
That's a good point. I think if you were actually researching it, even some of the more complicated ones, if you did some research, it would probably be pretty easy. So it's almost like, are you willing to spend the time to look all this stuff up?
Yeah, because you can search like how many green vigilance creatures there are or whatever. Or you can search, you can search all those things up. So maybe it's not that bad.
I think some of them were still tricky, but we probably did make it harder than it was by just doing it blind.
Yeah. After doing this, what do you think the odds are that Lantern Control will be banned?
it's the only saving grace is it's not in standard, so I'm hoping that maybe modern runs on different rules than this. But if it was in standard, 100%, they wouldn't let it happen.
I agree with you, but some of these were overreaching, like tournament play related. I mean, because clearly we have a lot of old cards that just violate their design principles. We have like Humility, Blood Moon, Ensnaring Bridge, Rituals, all that stuff would not be allowed in standard. They're allowed in modern today. So it seems like modern gameplay can be the Wild West, but when it starts impacting things like tournament times, player fun, stuff like that, I think WotC might care of it. So
well, it's kind of funny because that's the same thing we said last week when we talked about the Pro Tour stuff, is that was the best argument. If you're going to argue for banning Lantern, it's that it slows down the tournament too much and that stuff, not that it's necessarily too powerful for modern.
Yeah.
So maybe I think that we will already know the answer to this by the time this podcast goes live.
Oh, but I mean, designers have it rough. You got to know a lot about Magic. But then again, I guess it's not that bad as kind of just laymen who enjoy the game. We got most of it right. And if we actually spent, maybe an additional 20 minutes to do the research, I think we could have gotten... I think we might have been able to pass. If you needed 73 out of 75, I think we're pretty close.
After doing it, though, I don't even know if I'd want to pass. I think I would have way more fun. I do have way more fun playing Magic with Magic cards than making Magic cards. Would you even like it? Do you think you'd enjoy doing this all day, every day?
No.
But I mean, I guess it would be cool to be like, oh, I made that card. That was one of my designs. But the actual process of getting there, it doesn't seem that enjoyable to me compared to like, hey, I'm recording against the odds. This is just super fun.
It's like when people want to be a video game tester, they think they just get to play the game like they would at home and be done with it. But that's not what actually happens. You just play like the same 5-minute segment over and over and over again for like 2 weeks. And that is probably not fun. So playing Magic is fun. Making Magic cards, like seriously, is probably not so much fun.
Yeah,
it's probably real work.
I agree. It seems like a lot of work.
Plus, I don't know about... I don't know, like, I asked this in the original podcast where we started the Great Designer Search. Do you think they want sheep who come in and follow kind of the principles they've set forth? Or do you think they want people to come in and say, no, I think green should have flying or whatever, something like that. Green does have flying, but, they want to break the mold of what they created today.
This test was pretty sheepy.
Yeah.
Like, it felt pretty sheepy. Like, they just want you to get the right answer, and there's definitely a right answer. So it seemed like the essay questions maybe rewarded creativity and outside the box thinking a little bit, but this one, it's pretty black and white. Just like get the right answer, know enough about magic.
Yeah.
So I don't know how to put those two things together to tell what they're looking for. But I assume if you were too creative and outside the box, there's no way you would get 73 right on this question quiz.
Yeah. And doing this really makes me want kind of a time spiral set or something. Just like bring back all the old broken things that you're not allowed to do anymore for one last hurrah or something.
Oh, that would be so awesome. Maybe Dominaria is it. That question about like swords or counterspell or lightning bolt, just all of them. We get them all. That's the correct answer.
Yeah, I would normally laugh at that, but we did get Fatal Push.
We did. And it is kind of close to swords-ish. The closest we've been in a long time, at least.
It's conditional, but the condition is pretty relaxed. Like, there is downside, but most of the time it's not that bad given all the creatures we play. So maybe we do have hope for swords.
I would be down. I think it would be fun.
Yeah. All right, Seth. I think that wraps up our Great Designer Search. I don't think I'm ever going to do this again. Great Designer Search 4 will have to go on without us.
And that brings us to the end of episode 160 of the MTG Goldfish podcast. So, Richard, thanks for hanging out. It's always a blast.
Always a fun time, Seth, getting all the design questions wrong.
And thanks to everyone for listening. So again, let us know your answers or how you did if you already took the questions in the comments. Thanks so much for listening, and we will be back next week with a return to normal, fish mail, and all that. So this is episode 160 of the MTG Goldfish podcast, signing off.